failure on getting the Olympics. I mean, who's against the Olympics? What's up with that? You know, that's a sad thing, isn't it? I mean, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. You know, it's the Olympics. Come on.
President Obama keeping his sense of humor, finding his fire again last night. He's not afraid to take on the party of obstruction, even in a joking way. That was his webcast to supporters last night. He is in New Jersey campaigning for Governor John Corzine right now. We're keeping an eye on that. And if he says anything earth-shaking, we'll definitely get it to you. The president is right. The Republicans are against everything. They're lying about health care reform, blocking. They are blocking unemployment benefits, and not many people are talking about that. They're attacking volunteerism in this country. They are against volunteering. That's almost as stupid as being against the Olympics. I think this guy had the right prescription all along.
If you're against it, then get out of the way. Just get out of the way. You can lead, you can follow, or you can get out of the way. And I'm telling you now to get out of the way.
Congressman Alan Grayson, Democrat from Florida, joining us tonight here on The Ed Show. Congressman, it seems that you've gotten tremendous reaction from the way you've been handling critics, and the White House is now starting to go after critics, including Fox News. Do you think that this is a good strategy? Does this work? Does this have potential to continue to gain support?
Well, sure. What you do with a bully is you confront the bully, and then the bully backs down. And that's a good description of Fox News. People come on the air, they insult them, as they did me. They cut off their mics, as they did me. They shout at them and interrupt them, as they did me. And they even curse at them, as they did me. And why would anybody think that Fox News is some sort of valid news organization like that? Fox News and the National Enquirer are basically interchangeable.
So the president and the White House going after Fox News, you think, is a good strategy?
Sure, it's either that or ignore them the way most America does. There's 307 million Americans in this country. Barely 3 million of them ever tune into Fox News. That means 99% of all Americans have the good sense to ignore them.
Okay, now the public policy polling was out there, and the question was, does President Obama love America? And we were shocked at this. 73% of Republicans say no, or they're not sure. In your opinion, how have we gotten to this point in this country?
Because the Republicans operate simply by vilifying their enemies and nothing else. All they do is try to distract people from issues of health care, issues of jobs, issues of energy independence. They've got nothing. And because of that, they're well on their way. The party of no is well on their way to becoming the party of nobody.
Well, in the Senate today, this is Lamar Alexander, senator from Tennessee, comparing President Obama to the crook Richard Nixon.
As any veteran of the Nixon White House can attest, we've been down this road before, and it won't end well. An enemies list only denigrates the presidency and the republic itself. Now, the only reason I mention this is because I have an uneasy feeling, only 10 months into this new administration, that we're beginning to see the symptoms of this same kind of animus developing in the Obama administration.
And I think we're all concerned about the direction of this calling out is taking. I take it the Senator for Tennessee is suggesting that this administration is Nixifying the White House.
Nixifying the White House. What should be the proper response to that, Congressman?
You know, the Fox News and their Republican collaborators are the enemy of America. They're the enemy of anybody who cares about health care in this country, the enemy of anybody who cares about educating their children, the enemy of everybody who wants energy independence or anything for good for this country, and certainly the enemy of peace. There's no doubt about that. They are the enemy.
Congressman Alan Grayson, appreciate your time tonight. Thanks so much for joining us here on The Ed Show.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you very much.
Let's go to our panel tonight. For more, let's bring in Joe Madison, XM radio talk show host.
Yeah, you doing there?
A.B. Stoddard is with us tonight, associate editor for The Hill, and Karen Hanreddy, Republican strategist. Karen, we'll start with you. You want to respond to Congressman Grayson's comments about Republicans?
Wow, where to even start with Congressman Grayson? First of all, he's attacking Fox News and says, well, let's see, 99% of America doesn't watch Fox News. And yet, we all know they have double the ratings of all the other cable stations combined. So why is he on MSNBC tonight? I mean, this is just silliness to attack a cable station that gets viewers who are not all Republican. There's lots of information to determine that, in fact, Democrats also watch Fox News. And in fact, President Obama has said on multiple occasions, we're not a Republican nation, we're not a Democrat nation, we're just, a nation of Americans. Well, then why isn't he talking to all Americans? Why has he decided to completely cut out, 3.5 million viewers on O'Reilly's show, or, he could go on Chris Wallace's show on Sunday morning. This is a very odd tactic, and I think it's largely meant to throw red meat to the left, because otherwise the left is very upset. He still hasn't passed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He still hasn't rescinded Defense of Marriage Act. He still isn't in support of same-sex marriage, a lot of things that matter to the left. So he'll just throw out Fox News, kind of like throwing Christians into the arena, All
right, Karen, I gave you a good shot to defend why you're at 20% when it comes to Republican support in this country. Joe Madison, you want to respond to that?
Well, I think when I hear what I just heard, what comes to mind is that the Republican Party is leaderless. Look who she quoted, O'Reilly, the Limbaughs, the Glenn Becks. This is the Republican leadership. These are the people setting the agenda for the political leadership of the Republican Party in this country. Yes, you're right. People on the left are challenging their president because he made certain commitments during the campaign, and they intend to be active enough to make sure that he keeps them. The bottom line is very simple. It's really not about Fox. It's not about MSNBC. I think it's more about people need to be critical thinkers in this country, and they need to demand the truth from both parties.
Okay. A.B. Stoddard, I want to go back to the comment that President Obama made when he gave a speech at the joint session. He said that if you're wrong on something, we're going to call you out. Little did we know that Fox News was going to be in the lineup of being called out. Is this a good strategy for the White House to follow, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I happen to agree with Karen that it might be a good way to try to sort of make some noise to deflect attention away from the fact that President Obama is poised in passing health care potentially, and I'm only saying potentially, Ed, out of respect for you, without a public option, and of course, possibly even surging or escalating, providing a troop increase in Afghanistan, two things that will infuriate the left. They are dispirited and disheartened over other issues, as Karen mentioned, not repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, putting immigration reform on the back burner, letting the unions know in no uncertain terms that card check is way off of any burner, and I think that this calling out an organization and saying it's not real news, it fires up the left base. I don't think it does anything else except for really help Fox News. I will agree with you. I will not second the comments of Congressman Grayson, but agree with you that in order to surge over 20%, and the Republicans are sinking in the polls in terms of approval and party identification, I think they do need to step up and start saying some positive and proactive and productive things about their own policy agenda in order to rehabilitate their party, in addition to saying no all the time to Obama's policies.
All right, A.B., I do want to point out that the CBO score came out today. It's under budget. It's paid for, it reduces the deficit, and it covers more people. So I'm going to bet you dinner here on MSNBC on the Ed Show tonight that we get the public option.
And I'll pay for dessert.
And you know what? I bet we're going to get it because the conservative Democrats right now, they have no cover anymore. They can't come back to the American people and say, well, this was the criteria, now we got to move the goalposts. And Karen, I want to offer this to you. I've only been on this show for 6 months, and I'm already beating CNN. You give me 6 years, and I'll kick Fox's ass. I just thought I'd let you know that.
Let me bring up something.
Hey, let's talk about numbers real quick. While we're talking about Republicans at 20%, let's also remember another very important number, which is the generic ballot, and that is every day that Barack Obama is in office, the generic ballot gets better for Republicans.
Okay, I know that only I know he's at 57%. Hold on. I know he's at 57% approval rating. He's at 57% approval rating, and the American people have turned the tide on public option. We're going to get health care reform passed, and you folks are going to be left in the dark because you don't want to be a part of it. Joe, I'll give you the final word in this segment.
A final word is that what I'm finding on my show, ratings or no ratings, and we've got ratings too, the bottom line is when you explain public options to people, as my grandfather used to say, really put it where the goats can get it, people buy it. On the left and even on the right.
Gotta
and
run,
I get
folks.
callers from both.
Good point, Joe.